It's just comedy.
The Jell-O program, starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston and Phil Harris and his orchestra.
Thank you. This is Groucho Marx. Well, here I am, stepping in over my head again.
With Fibber McGee and Molly.
Folks, this is just as new to me as it is to you.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny, this is Rochester.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Well, what an original greeting.
Hello and welcome to another week of comedy, funny, haha, on Dwayne Old Time Radio. One thing, please subscribe to my channel. If you enjoy what I'm doing, subscribing is 100% free. Also, one more thing, if you have a few seconds or 1 minute, please leave a review on your preferred podcast service, especially if you're on Apple, Spotify, or really just your preferred podcast service. Thank you and hope you enjoy. Vic and Sade return. Hello, Vic. Hello, Sade. We have, 4 episodes from Vic and Sade. Sorry, I have these listed here. The first episode is Preselected School Clothes, August 30th, 1939. Rush tenders his resignations. And that one aired September, I don't have a day, but September 1939. And then we have Office Work at Home / Magnifying Glass, September 6th, 1939. And then we end with Wildflowers, September 22nd, 1939.
Well, sir, it's late afternoon as we approach the small house halfway up in the next block now, and here on the front porch we find Mr. and Mrs. Victor Gook. Sade is swinging gently in the swing, and Vic, who has just this moment arrived home from the office, prepares to seat himself beside her. Listen.
Willie out and back?
Yeah.
What doing?
Sitting on the steps.
He's mad.
So I gathered. I was at pains to wish him a jolly good afternoon and received only a sullen rejoinder.
He's mad at his mother.
Why?
Oh, she went downtown and bought him clothes for school.
Seems to me he'd be overjoyed.
He wants to pick out his own clothes.
A feeling common to youth. As a boy, I used to want to pick out my own clothes.
Did you pick 'em out?
No. Hand over the sheaf of letters, telegrams, and cables that arrived during my absence.
Mailman never even stopped. Walked right on past.
Next time I see him, I'll thrash him within an inch of his life.
Certainly left a big batch of stuff at Scott's. Must have been a dozen pieces of mail he left. They correspond around till who laid the chunk. I expect the thing of it is she's got 5 sisters, and writing letters back and forth with that many.
Mary Sunshine.
Mad as a wet hen. His mother wouldn't let him buy his own clothes. You know what he'd do, don't you? He'd pick out the loudest, crashiest junk in town.
Hello there, tongue clamp, old mashy shot.
I wouldn't rile him up any more than he is.
What's he got to be riled about? Seems to me we tolerate considerable temperament around this place.
Come on up and sit in the shade, Willie.
Join me and my lady friend here. We're going to rob a bank and make our getaway and escape over the state line to Missouri. We want you to lead the police off on a false scent.
Miss Harris just come along the alley, Mom. She said to tell you she wouldn't be at Thimble meeting.
Oh, really? Say why? Oh, really?
Gonna call you up after supper and explain.
Well, thanks for delivering the message. Where are you going?
On and back.
Going.
On and back.
Going.
On and back. Rather go round and back.
Do join us, footbath. I can't bear to think of you in the backyard grieving yourself to death. Come on up and sit down. Your mother and I are cracking jokes and singing songs.
I wouldn't have come around in front at all if Miss Harris hadn't come along with that message.
Don't be mad at me anymore, Sonny.
Yeah, you two fellas shake hands there. You two fellas shake hands there. You two fellas... Benjamin Franklin spoke those immortal words while peeling a banana on the outskirts of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was barefooted at the time, and although he was wearing a catcher's mitt, he aroused suspicion
Here,
by his...
sit down.
Not enough room.
I'll squeeze over.
I'll sit on the railing.
They tell me you're peeved, Arthur. They tell me angry fires seethe in your breast and hot tears furrow
Oh,
the
leave
jealous...
him be.
Okay. Anybody got a hunk of eating tobacco in their pocket? I haven't had a chew all day.
Mom, as long as this business about my clothes is all cut and dried, suppose we might as well get to the bottom of it.
Bottom of it?
What am I supposed to do tomorrow? Go down to Hamilton's and Kleberger's?
And Empson's.
Empson's?
Yes.
You never bought shoes for me.
I bought a good, substantial pair of shoes.
You actually walked calmly into a shoe store and bought shoes for a great big 14-year-old high school guy?
Oh, Lands Rash, let's not go through the same rigmarole we went through when I got home this afternoon.
Nobody was with you.
I told you Ruthie was along. You knew Ruthie was along. You heard me telephone this morning.
You paraded my shame before Ruthie. Ruthie knows
Miss
you...
Dembottom, please, mister.
What?
Miss Dembottom, not Ruthie. I'll call her Ruthie. You call her Miss Dembottom.
She saw you actually walk calmly in a shoe store and buy shoes for a 14-year-old high school student? With her own naked eyes, she witnessed...
I'm getting a little tired of this monkey business, Willie. And quit screwing your face around into them wild expressions. You're not the dying fawn in the movie picture show. You think your mother buying your clothes for you makes you out a little child. Well, if it looks that way, I'm sorry. But it's the sensible thing to do, and besides, it's already done. Now sit up and quit acting like a horse had fell on you.
How'd you go about this, Sade? Seems to me you'd have to have had soup ladled along in order to get the correct sizes.
He'll get the correct sizes when he shows up at the different stores tomorrow.
Oh, you picked out a suit and then had the clerk lay it aside?
And told him my little boy'd come in to be fitted.
Oh, I see.
Same way with shoes. I selected what I wanted, and when Willie drops by, they'll give me a size in that particular style.
Pretty smart dodge.
Yeah. Ruthie give me flattering compliments on my smartness. I was smart about the cap I bought, too. In there at Kleberger's, I told him.
You bought me a cap?
What?
You bought me a cap?
Yeah.
I wanted a hat.
Cap is best for school. Hat gets crushed and ruined 5 seconds after you put it on your head.
Oh.
Yeah, cap is best for school.
Oh.
Don't bother making outlandish noises, son. Instead of raising a fuss like you're doing, you ought to be happy as a lark your parents can afford to buy you lovely new school outfits.
That's right, Moose Jaw. You're not bad off.
I'm almost a grown-up adult, and my mother picks out my clothes for me. I got a new suit, and I don't even know what it looks like. Got a new
I'll
cap.
tell you what it looks like. Blue serge. Very neat and trim. The pants has got them zipper do-funnies, and there's a real sporty belt on the coat you like.
Well, will look like a...
The shoes are brown. Reddish brown, I guess you'd call it. They're serviceable and strong and can stand the gap. Nothing flashy about them, of course.
I expect the cap is a good substantial...
The cap is a good common-sense plaid. It didn't cost much, but if you take halfway decent care of it, it'll hold its shape and stay presentable a good long time.
Did Ruthie titter and snort when you told the clerks your little boy...
What did I say about that Ruthie business?
Did she titter and snort?
Maybe when you're 21 you can say Ruthie. I think for a while yet, though, you'd better say Miss Dembottom.
Did she titter and snort?
I don't think I like them words very well.
Did she laugh at the idea of a lady picking out clothes for a fella as big and as old as I am?
No.
It's a wonder. By George, I don't see how a common, ordinary American citizen can hold on to their self-respect when their mother treats them like a half-witted half-wit that ain't got this...
I think we've had enough of this.
By George, when civilization has sunk so
Listen,
low...
then I'll tell you what you're supposed to do tomorrow. Then we'll drop the subject. In at Hamilton's, you're supposed to ask for Mr. Richards. He's the clerk waited on me this afternoon. He'll get out the suit I bought and then find one on the rack exactly like it, your size.
What if I see a suit I like better? What if I see a suit
All right, that takes care of Hamilton's. At Kleberger's, ask for Mr. White. He's the young fellow with the nose glasses. Just say you're...
I'm Rush Cook, and my mother picked out a cap for me.
Yes. And when you try 'em on, be sure and get one big enough. Last cap you bought left a dent around your head when you took it off. A person could hide their pocketbook in.
Maybe I ought to ask...
Kleberger's, Mr. White. Hamilton's, Mr. Richards. And don't forget, in Empson's shoe store, inquire for Mr. Spence. Bald-headed fella. I believe he's got an artificial leg, too. Scrounged down awful peculiar and stuck it out straight behind him when he sat down on the little stool.
For an individual my age...
You got them names straight? I asked you a question. I said, have you got them names straight?
Piggard's, Knight, and Fence.
Richards, White, and Spence. Remember 'em now. Otherwise, she'll get in a muddle.
No joking, kiddo. That's a pretty smart stunt. Pick out exactly what you want and then send oyster cracker down to get the right size. You've got ingenuity.
Where are you going?
Out and back.
What you going to do?
Nothing.
Sit on the steps and sulk and feel sorry for yourself?
I wish to be alone.
You got to trot to the store for groceries after Beth. So don't go running off any place.
Man with a breaking heart.
Uh-huh.
I suppose his spirit is just as agonized over this as that of a great businessman beset by difficulties.
I suppose.
The intensity of the suffering from a person's troubles is the same whether the person is young or old. The infant who's denied the rattle he desires is no more or no less distressed than the desperate banker who finds shortages in his accounts. And the 14-year-old boy who isn't permitted to select his own clothes endures the same misery as
Mr. Carl home from work.
Huh?
Mr. Carl walking along the sidewalk. Must be time to start supper. Come in the house with me. You can help. Grind the meat and crack the English walnuts.
Okay.
Which concludes another brief interlude at the small house halfway up in the next block. Well, sir, it's a few minutes past 7:30 o'clock as we enter the small house halfway up in the next block now. And here in the living room we find Mr. and Mrs. Victor Gook and their son, Mr. Rush Gook, comfortably settled for the evening. Vic lounges in his easy chair with a newspaper. Sade thoughtfully darns socks on the davenport, while young Rush at the library table ostensibly applies himself to academic pursuits. But his mother, chancing to glance at him, remarks,
Are you really studying there, Rush, or just fooling around?
I'm certainly not fooling around.
Glad to hear it.
On the other hand, I'm not actually what you'd call studying.
I thought not.
Matter of fact, I'm writing a batch of letters.
Writing letters won't learn your algebra lesson for you.
It'll help my algebra in an indirect way, though. Gov.
Hi there, hi-ho-de-ho.
Distract you if I read something out loud?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Listen, man. Mr. Henry Walker, City. Dear Mr. Walker, because I wish to devote my entire time to my studies, I hereby resign my membership in the Sophomore Mathematical Research Society. I regret the necessity for taking this step, but I feel that my schoolwork comes first. Yours very truly, Rush Cook.
Thought you did resign from that.
Not formally, I haven't.
I told you 2 weeks ago you
I haven't been attending meetings. I expect by this time my name's even been stricken from the roll. The thing is, I'm going to see that this letter gets widely circulated. You understand what that'll do, don't you?
No.
Make a red-hot impression on the teachers.
Oh.
I see where Rush Cook has given up all outside activities in order to devote his time to his schoolwork.
That's what the teacher will say, huh?
That's what all the teachers will say. Rush Cook is a fine boy. I will give him excellent grades.
Who's this Rush Cook you're praising so highly, Peanut Oil?
I'm just quoting what the various members of the high school faculty will be saying about me day after tomorrow. Appreciate what Mom and I are talking about here?
After a fashion, you plan ostentatiously to resign from various academic organizations with the object in view of impressing your teachers.
Exactly.
Smacks of low cunning.
Oh, I don't know. Mom told me I had to quit all the clubs I joined. Well, heck, long as I got to quit, I might as well take advantage of any opportunities I see.
Still smacks of low cunning.
Okay.
First day of the semester there, he joined societies and stuff where he'd be away from home every noontime of the whole week. Said he'd have to take all his dinners down at the high school. I put the kibosh on that in a hurry.
A wise move.
I'll say. Prepare lovely meals at home and then have one of the family spend $800 eating at the school.
A thought that makes me shudder.
Listen to my letter to Dan Leifertz. Mr. Daniel Leifertz, City. Dear Mr. Leifertz, I hold my membership in the Shakespeare Dramatic Union close to my heart, but I cannot afford to take any chances with my studies. In order to be sure my schoolwork will not suffer, I am abandoning all outside activities. Best of luck to your excellent organization. Yours very truly, Rush Cook.
Pretty fancy.
Got most of it out of a book.
What book? Book in the bookcase gives all the model letters?
Uh-huh. I selected one where a fella breaks off his engagement with a young lady. Dear Miss Spence, I hold our engagement close to my heart, but my first duty is to my elderly parents. In order to be sure that they do not suffer as a result of my getting married, I hereby relinquish your hand to some better and nobler creature who will no doubt cross your path sometime in the future. And so on and so forth.
I found that book in the Miller Park picnic grounds. It had writing in the front. Happy Easter to Chuck and Myrtle, April 1913. Wasn't any last name mentioned, though, to help a person look in the city directory and find out the owner.
Here's what I say to Rooster Davis. Mr. Edwin Davis, City. Dear Mr. Davis, because of my determined resolution to obtain high grades in my studies this semester, I am hereby resigning from the Boys Nitroglycerin Pep Club. Trusting you and your fellow members will understand and sympathize, I remain sincerely yours, Rush Cook.
Hippity-hop and la-di-da.
Got that one out of the book, too. Most of it. Letter from a fella to another fella apologizing for breaking both his legs. Dear Mr. So-and-so, because of my determined resolution to avenge your insult of last Tuesday, I was forced to break both your legs. I am hereby regretting the necessity for my action. Trusting you will enjoy your rest in the hospital and hoping the incident will not cause you to limp, I extend fondest greetings to your charming wife and beautiful children, and remain sincerely your humble servant, Bill something or other.
Oh, silliness.
Serves my purpose, so.
How are you going to get your letters circulated, Andy, so they fall under the eye of the teachers?
Got several schemes in mind.
I suppose you could send them all carbon copies.
No. That'd look too much like a put-up job.
A trifle on the obvious side, all right.
I guess my best bet is to put them on the bulletin board.
They got a bulletin board up at high school?
Oh, sure. Big one. In the first-floor hallway just outside the library. Every teacher and every student in the building stops to look at it 40 times a day.
How many letters you got there?
8.
You're resigning from 8 organizations? If you plaster 8 letters on the bulletin board, they'll take up considerable space on the bulletin board, won't they?
All the better. Teachers will be dazzled. By George, Miss Monroe, look at here. Rush Cook is giving up all his outside activities just so he can devote his time to his subjects. By George, Miss Overraker, you're right. I'm going to help that boy all I can, Miss Monroe. Me too, by George. High-class, airtight, and foolproof, eh?
Yeah. What are these 8 organizations you're resigning from?
Well, Boys Nitroglycerin Pep Club, Shakespeare Dramatic Union, Sophomore Mathematical Research Society, Deep Sea Fancy Diving League, Better English Club, Enthusiastic Order of Football Fanatics, High School Choral Group, Fellowship of Auditorium Ushers. Impressive layout, huh?
Yeah.
Uncle Fletcher's gang of lodges and stuff would make your list look sick.
Uncle Fletcher quite a joiner?
Used to be. Get spruced up of a Sunday to go to church, and his coat lapel almost dragged the ground. It was so heavy with pins and badges. Seems to me they used to say around home, dues alone run him $200 a year.
Listen to the way I resigned from the high school choral group. Mr. Elton Wadhams, City. Dear Mr. Wadhams, you will no doubt be desolate at my absence from future meetings of the choral group, but I wish to be free from all encumbrances as I plan to devote my entire time to my subjects. Sincerely yours, Rush Cook.
Get that out of the book?
Most of it. Escaped convict dropping a line to the warden. Dear Warden, you will no doubt be desolate at my absence from the bullpen, but I wish to be free from prison life. So I sawed the bars out of my cell window and departed. Kindly convey my best wishes to the guards. With many thanks for past favors, I remain lovingly yours, number 642.
Oh, that's craziness.
It is manifest the author had his tongue in his cheek.
Serves my purposes, though. Yes, sir, I can just see the teachers grouped around that bulletin board. 8 letters from Rush Cook, resigning from his outside activities in order to devote all his time to studying. That boy's going to get good grades from me, Miss Weichel. Me too, Miss Brand.
Are there any more organizations up at school besides the one you're resigning from?
Sure.
Quite a few?
Oh, a couple dozen, maybe.
Why don't you resign from them, too?
I don't belong to them.
Resign anyway. Make more letters to plaster on the bulletin board.
By George, that's an idea.
Sure.
Well, if you have to resort to stunts like that to get your teachers to put good marks on your report
Peach
card...
of an idea, God. Excuse me, ma'am. Let's see. I resigned from the Student Council, the Diesel Engine Club, the Original Composition Society.
Telephone's ringing.
Probably Leland Richard.
Or Miss Stembottom. Answers.
Suppose they got 500 on their mind?
No, Fred's putting in overtime at the foundry this evening.
Hello? Oh, yes, Bluetooth. No, I'm afraid I can't. Well, I've got a bunch of letters to write, and after that I've got a whole smear of homework to do. Oh, is that so? Uh-huh. Good idea. Sure. Well, count me in. Sure, count me in. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you about it in the morning, Bluetooth. You bet. So long, fella. Bluetooth and Smelly and Rooster and Milton are getting up a new club.
They want you to join?
Yeah.
You gonna join?
Oh, sure. I always join stuff when I get a chance.
Which concludes another brief interlude at the small house halfway up in the next block.
Well, sir, it's about 2:30 o'clock in the afternoon as our scene opens now. And here in the living room of the small house halfway up in the next block, we find Mr. Victor Gook all by himself. The gentleman is established at the library table, and from the litter of writing materials and important-looking documents and evidence, we jump to the immediate conclusion he's doing a spot of office work at home. But at this moment, being suddenly aware of sounds in the kitchen, he glances in that direction and calls,
Yes? Who is it?
Thank you, Dad. I never knew you were home.
Plant 11, 9 carloadings. Plant 3, 12 carloadings.
Dad,
I'm busy, Roscoe. What you want?
Mom around?
No.
I got Bluetooth Johnson out by the garbage box.
Well, keep him there.
What?
Keep him there. I'm trying to concentrate on some work.
Where is Mom?
You know.
Where is Mom, Dad?
Oh, my.
Dad.
I haven't the slightest notion where she is. Go away. Plant 11, 9 carloadings. Plant 3, 12 carloadings.
Hey, Bluetooth, wait for me a minute, will you?
Oh.
Yeah. I'll be out in a little while. I think my day's
Hey.
a little... Yeah, Dad.
Stop that noise.
Talking to Bluetooth Johnson.
Plant 3, 12 carloadings.
Talking to Bluetooth Johnson, Dad.
Go join Bluetooth Johnson.
What?
Go join Bluetooth
What?
Johnson. Listen, you hyena, I'm trying to work in here. Beat it. Get out of the house and don't come back till supper time. I'm trying to concentrate.
Telephone's
If you
ringing.
well, come answer it.
What?
Come answer it.
Telephone's ringing.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you say come answer it?
No, get out of here.
Might possibly be for Bluetooth Johnson. If it is, Bluetooth's right handy out by the garbage box.
Beat it.
What?
Oh, my. Hello? Yes? Oh, yes, Miss Chogle.
Hey, Bluetooth. You don't mind waiting out
Why,
there
no,
for me?
she isn't, Miss Chogle.
No, I won't be long.
I'm afraid I haven't got the slightest idea. No.
No, I think my dad's doing some work.
What?
Yeah.
Beg pardon, Miss Chogle. I didn't
invite
catch
him,
what
but I
you
don't think
said.
he wants to be bothered.
Rush is out in the kitchen hollering to somebody. Just
Okay,
a second.
Bluetooth.
Rush!
For me, guys?
Stop that noise.
Somebody on the phone for me?
No.
Somebody for Bluetooth?
Miss Chogle? Sorry to interrupt you. No, she never said. No. Well, she could be at Miss Stembottom.
Somebody for Bluetooth Johnson on the phone, guy?
Well, why don't you try there, Miss Chogle? Phone number? I ought to know Stembottom's phone number. Let's see, I believe it's... one moment, Miss Chogle. Rush.
Somebody for Bluetooth?
What's Stembottom's phone number?
Is that where Mom is? Stembottom's?
Listen, you lummox, in about 1 minute, I'm... what, Miss Chogle? No, I was talking to this reprobate son of mine. What's Stembottom's phone number?
2572X.
Now beat it. 2572X, Miss Chogle. Yes. Not at all. Not at all, Miss Chogle. Bye. Egg yolk, old trip hammer. I'll give you just 10 seconds to quit the premises.
I only wish to get the magnifying glass out of the bookcase, and then I will take my departure.
I'll say you will.
Bluetooth Johnson is out by the garbage box.
I don't care if Bluetooth Johnson is out by the Straits of Gibraltar. On the one afternoon, a man tries to do a little
I think
work
he
at
heard
home.
you.
You think who hurt me?
Bluetooth. When I hollered in here and told you Bluetooth was out by the garbage box, I think he heard you when you yelled back for me to keep him there. His feelings are probably wounded. Bluetooth Johnson's a very sensitive bundle of nerves. His tears are very near the surface. He'll weep at the drop of a hat. Bluetooth Johnson is as high-strung an individual as you'll find...
Are you going to get out of here?
I want the magnifying glass out of the bookcase.
Get it and go.
Very well.
And if I hear another peep out of you, there'll be serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Man might just as well attempt to work with complex figures and make delicate calculations in a doggone half-wit boiler factory. If I wasn't of a vigorous constitution, I'd have gone batty years ago. Plant 11, 9 carloadings. Plant 3, 12 carloadings. Plant 7... Well, that's not right. Plant 11, 6 carloadings. Plant 3, 14 carloadings. Plant 7...
Son of a gun. Somebody stuffed this bookcase full of junk where, when I opened the door, it all fell out on the floor.
So I see.
Must have been Mom done it.
Made quite a crash.
Yes, it did. Blame the luck.
I was quite startled.
So was I. Nothing got broke, though. By George.
Get out.
Did
you hear me? My patience has stretched itself as far as it is humanly possible.
Telephone's ringing.
You're going to get out?
Telephone's ringing.
Well, answer it and leave. I'm giving you fair warning. I won't be responsible for any impulsive action I may take if you're in this room 10 seconds from the time I say.
Speaking. Just fine, thanks. And yourself? Mighty glad to hear it, Smelly.
If you're wise, you'll cut that short.
1 second, Smelly. I beg your pardon, Gov.
If you're wise, you'll cut that short.
Smelly? Excuse the delay. My father passed a remark. He expressed a wish we'd not keep the line busy long. Yeah. Resume what you were saying. Oh, uh-huh. By George, it just so happens he is. 1 moment, Smelly.
Smelly want to speak to me?
No, wants to speak to Bluetooth.
Where are you going?
Fetch Bluetooth.
Oh, no.
He's right handy out by the garbage box.
Oh, no.
You would deprive a fellow human being of his legal right to receive a telephone call. You would... I'll tell him no. Smelly? I'm afraid Bluetooth won't be able to speak with you just at the present time, Smelly. No. Well, it just so happens that circumstances over which I have no control prevent... Uh-huh. That's right. You hit the nail on the head, Smelly. Yeah. My father's here doing some special work, and people conversing over the telephone bother him. That's right. Uh-huh. Well, may I take a message to Bluetooth? Very trivial, huh? Very, very trivial, huh? Very, very, very trivial, huh? Very, 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 very...
Oh!
Bye, Smelly. Don't get mad, Gov. I couldn't help it if the telephone was ringing.
I do not wish to do something that I would later regret.
Telephone's ringing, Gov. Shall I answer it? Hello? Oh, hello, Mom. Oh, nothing much. Just come in the house to get the magnifying glass out of the bookcase. Yeah. Bluetooth Johnson's out by the garbage box. Yeah. Gov? Sure. Guess he's been there quite a while. You wish to speak with him? Okay. 1 second. Gov. His mom wishes to speak to you. I expect...
One side.
Just because a common, ordinary American citizen...
Mm-hmm. Hello? Yes, say. Try to do some work. About an hour. No. Yes. No. Miss Troker. Never said. I never asked. Said she tried to get you at Ruthie's. No. Yes. 5 minutes ago. No. No. Yes. No. 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 Bye.
May I search the bookcase for my magnifying glass? I'll leave as soon as I find it. Bluetooth Johnson's out by the garbage box.
Be gone.
Won't you even let me?
Be gone.
Okay.
Oh, my. Plant 11, 6 carloadings. Plant 3, 14 carloadings. Plant 7, 20 carloadings. Plant 5, 9 carloadings.
Telephone's ringing. Ain't you gonna answer it? Front doorbell's ringing. God, front doorbell's ringing. Ain't you gonna answer that either? Hey, Bluetooth. I couldn't find the magnifying glass. Wait for me a minute, will ya? Okay.
Oh, my.
Which concludes another brief interlude at the small house halfway up in the next block. Well, sir, the noonday meal is almost over as we join our friends at the small house halfway up in the next block now. And here in the kitchen we find Mr. Victor Gook and young Mr. Rush Gook briskly attacking dessert. Mrs. Victor Gook, however, quitted the table a moment ago in response to the telephone's alarm. And we hear her say,
Ruthie, it completely slipped my mind. Completely slipped my mind. Yes. Sure. Well, I'm glad you remembered, lady. Vic and Rush are still here, and I can get the information from them before they have to go back to school in the office. Like I told you last week, Vic was brought up on a farm and can provide the information in 2 seconds. All right, Ruthie. Sure. Suppose I come past for you about 1:45 or kind of halfway in around through there. Yeah. All right, lady. You bet. Goodbye.
I demand to know the
Willie, trot in the living room and get a sheet of paper and pencil out of the library table drawer. Finished your dessert?
Got a couple of bites left.
Well, run along. You can eat them when you get back. I'm the most forgetful ninny in town. Promised 5 separate ladies I'd dig up some information for them. They need a thimble meeting this afternoon, and let it completely slip my mind.
What kind of information?
Wildflowers. You'll have to help me.
You want your good stationery, Mom?
No, any old piece of scratch paper will do. And a pencil.
Okay.
You know all about wildflowers, don't you? Oh, you do so. Raised on a farm.
I was raised on a farm, but my horticultural education...
Well, you certainly give me half a dozen names of wildflowers, can't you?
I might possibly perform that feat.
Sure. Here's the way it is. At the last thimble meeting, the chairman, Ms. Apparat, told us we'd have to answer to roll call this week by giving the name of a wildflower and some interesting fact about it.
Mighty sweet idea.
And I have to accumulate this information for 5 separate ladies. Well, 6, counting myself.
I ripped a page out of my algebra notebook.
All right, thanks. Give it here. Now, what's the name of a wildflower?
Dandelion.
Oh, lands, everybody knows dandelion.
Bluebell.
Oh, can't you think of some good ones?
Well, bluebell is good. As pretty a posy as you'd want to see.
I mean something unusual. I had the notion you brought up in the country that way. You'd have 100 wildflowers on the tip of your tongue.
I worked when I was a boy. I didn't trip over the meadows gathering blossoms. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and milked cows and watered horses.
Yeah, I know, but same time, seems to me you'd recall 1,000 wildflowers.
Well, maybe I do. Let me ponder a second.
I put down bluebell. What's an interesting fact about bluebells?
Their color.
What about their color?
It's blue.
Oh, my.
Well, heck, let a guy think a minute. I can probably recollect a trash basket full of dope if he'll give me time.
Some farm boy.
What's the trouble, Mom?
Well, I need the names of wildflowers for a thimble club meeting this afternoon.
Why?
Oh, new stunt of Miss Apparats. At roll call, instead of answering off Miss Gook and Miss Stembottom, the ladies are supposed to give a wildflower and some interesting fact about it. You know any wildflowers?
I expect I could think of a few. Do you have to provide them for all the ladies?
Have to provide them for 5. Well, thought of something?
Chrysanthemum.
Oh, chrysanthemum. Since when was chrysanthemums wild?
I don't know.
Sure must have been some wide-awake farm boy.
Oh, why do you have to dig up information for everybody?
Oh, I guess I stuck my neck out. I had the idea my husband, that had been brought up in the country, could name off names of wildflowers fast as he could talk.
No, but why do you
Well, when Thimble let out last week, I walked partway home with Ruthie and Miss Carmelson and Miss Welch. They said they didn't know any more about wildflowers than a person could shake a stick at. I told them I'd help them out. And pretty quick, Miss Kreider and Miss Oliver caught up with us, and they were up a stump about wildflowers. I said I'd get their information for them.
Huh.
And then I proceeded to promptly forget the whole business. Puts me in a pickle if you can't help. I've had all week to go down to the public library, and here's the afternoon of thimble meeting, and I haven't got a thing.
You've got Bluebell.
Oh, Bluebell. I thought you'd know a bunch of dandies.
Oh, maybe I do. Let me think.
Sweet Williams, Mom. Sweet Williams are wildflowers, ain't they?
Sweet Williams? Sure.
I remember seeing
What's
Sweet
an
Williams.
interesting fact about them?
I don't know.
Tulips, kiddo.
Are tulips wildflowers?
Far as I know, they are.
You must have been a regular leatherhead when you were on the farm.
I was a bright, alert,
Sunflowers,
hard-working...
Mom. Well, they're wild.
Well, they're wild, but they're common. Anybody can think of sunflowers and dandelions and daisies. I told the ladies I'd provide them with fancy names. Fancy names and unusual facts. And your father gives me chrysanthemums and tulips.
Irises.
Irises.
Is this the way it goes, Mom? Miss Aprot calls off Miss Gook, and you're supposed to holler out Sweet Williams?
Supposed to holler out Sweet Williams and go ahead and speak some little piece about Sweet Williams. Sweet Williams grow some place or other, and they're widely known for this, that, and the other thing.
Rotten splotches.
What?
Wildflowers. Rotten splotches. They grow on the banks of creeks. We had a whole patch of rotten splotches on our farm. They're kind of a nasty yellow with dirty streaks on them.
Ish.
Rotten splotches is a good, legitimate wildflower. I can
You
prove...
think I'd give that to any of the ladies to say, rotten splotches, a nasty yellow flower with dirty streaks on it?
Well, heck, I'm doing the best I can.
Telephone's ringing.
It's probably Ruthie again.
Might be Leland Richards. He said he had something of a trivial nature to discuss.
I'll
with me.
answer. Hello? Oh, yes, Miss Carmelson. Why, yes, I am Miss Carmelson. I promised Miss Stembottom I'd stop by for her. Uh-huh. Oh, the wildflowers? Yes, yours is Sweet William. Yes, Sweet William. What's an interesting fact, Vic?
I'm afraid I
Rush?
wouldn't have the slightest...
Sweet Williams were discovered by Balboa when he explored the Pacific coast.
Who?
Balboa.
Excuse me, Miss Carmelson. Had to ask my son a question. Yeah. Sweet Williams were discovered by Balboa when he explored the Pacific coast. Balboa. Can you remember that? Uh-huh. All right. Oh, not at all. Well, see you at Thimble Club later on. Yes, indeed. All right, Miss Carmelson. Bye.
Well, you got one of your ladies fixed up.
Hush, was that true about Sweet Williams?
True?
Yes.
Could be true.
You don't know it's true, though, huh?
No, I don't know it's true. But it's got to be partly true. Balboa must have seen plenty of Sweet Williams.
I'll get it.
Carnations.
Carnations are wildflowers?
Seems to me I heard somewhere that carnations are...
Hello. Oh, yes, Miss Oliver. Sure I have. You bet. What's another?
Killycnicks.
Killyconnects?
Yeah.
Killyconnects, Miss Oliver. Yeah, that's your wildflower. Interesting fact.
Killycnicks were used by the Comanche Indians to tell the time of day.
They were used by the Comanche Indians to tell the time of day. Yeah. Oh, not at all, Miss Oliver. Not at all. See you this afternoon? All right. All right, Miss Oliver. Goodbye.
Another lady accommodated.
What are killyconnects?
Marbles. They're generally used for shooters, and they're made out of some kind of funny stone. Kids call them killycnicks.
Where'd you get that about the Comanche Indians?
We're reading about Comanche Indians in English class.
Both Miss Carmelson and Miss Oliver will call out stuff at Thimble meeting that ain't true.
Nobody will check up on them, though. You take the average American citizen, he wouldn't bother to go to
I
the
need
trouble.
4 more wildflowers and interesting facts.
Heliotrope.
You needn't exert yourself giving any more suggestions, Vic. Rush, I'm going to use sunflower after all. What's an interesting fact?
Sunflowers were once used as food.
Is that true?
No.
Once used as food.
Sweet peas.
What's an interesting fact about daisies?
Daisies keep secrets. There's an old saying, daisies won't tell.
That's true.
Sure.
I'll give it to Ruthie. How about bluebells?
They're blue.
How about bluebells, Rush?
Bluebells were once held sacred by the Blackfoot tribe of Redskins.
Kiddo, seems to me orchids are wildflowers. I think
dandelions?
Want an interesting fact for dandelions?
Yeah.
There's an old tradition that if you hold a dandelion under somebody's chin and it makes their skin look yellow, it shows they like butter.
That's true.
I don't know whether it's true or not, but you take young kids.
Well, I mean, it's true people say that.
Yeah.
Well, makes my six. Sweet Williams, that funny name.
Killy Knicks.
Sunflowers, daisies, bluebells, and dandelions.
Uh-huh. 6.
Certainly made a botch of this. Making ladies call out trash that ain't even true.
I wouldn't worry, Ma. You'll never get caught.
Kiddo,
What?
poinsettias.
You're some farm boy, you are.
Ain't poinsettias wildflowers?
Some wonderful farm boy.
Which concludes another brief interlude at the small house halfway up in the next block.
Thank you for listening to and showing your support for my podcast. If you would like to receive notifications of when new episodes are posted, please subscribe to my channel. Subscriptions are 100% free, and they really help me get an idea of how I'm doing. Well, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe, wish you well, and as always, peace.